welcome to today's episode, where we dive deeply into the science of the sea. Whether you are a medical student looking for evidence-based insights, or simply someone who wonders why a trip to the ocean feels so restorative. Why is it that I feel so much refreshed when I visit the sea? This episode will guide you through the physiological, psychological, and dermatological effects of the sea. We will explore how the ocean impacts mood, skin, the respiratory system, and the brain. We will also discuss the benefits and harms of sun exposure by the shore on your body. So let us dive into the world of evidence and science. Get it? Before we start, make sure that you like and subscribe for more videos such as this. And please have a look at my other videos. Now, without further ado, let us start with today's episode. The effects of the sea on the mood. One of the most widely reported effects of being near the ocean is an improvement in the overall mood. Research shows that the blue spaces, environments near large bodies of water, reduce stress and improve your mental health. The sound of the waves has a very good effect on your parasympathetic system, promoting relaxation and well-being. Moreover, visual exposure to the ocean increases activity in the anterior cingulate cortex, a region linked to emotional regulation. Therefore, this can help promote a better mood. Salt water also leads to an elevated level of endorphins and serotonin, natural mood boosters. Now, this is something very important because most of us believe that the environment has a good response on our bodies. That's why we travel to areas where we feel refreshing. Now, being exposed to the sun at the beach also is double-edged. Why is that? There are benefits and there are risks. One of the benefits is that you get exposed to the ultraviolet B light, which helps with the synthesis of vitamin D, which is important for the absorption of calcium, and phosphorus, which are important for bone health and immune functions. Moreover, the sun itself, the ultraviolet B lights and the sunlight usually have a very good effect on the circadian rhythm, which are good at regulating melatonin and thus help with the sleep cycle. And finally, one thing that we've always struggled with is the SAD, seasonal affective disorder, not the SAD, although you might have the same symptoms. But that is something important because it leads to depression during a particular season when you are not quite much exposed to sunlight. So therefore, this could be a cue. While for the risks, you have to make sure that there are 3 risks that you have to avoid. Number 1 is eye damage. If you look at the sun, you gotta say goodbye to your eyes. Then you have the heat stroke. This is something that we present to the hospital for, is because you feel totally dehydrated and your body feels very weak from the breakdown and the breakdown of muscles. And finally, it's the skin damage, which could potentially lead to melanoma. And now for my favorite part. It is the effects on the brain. So they say that chemistry and biology are usually intertwined, and nowhere does it ring true than the seawater and the human body. You have the negative ions that are generated by the crashing waves increase the serotonin levels in the body, thus enhancing the mood and the focus of a human being. And being near the water also activates the amygdala. The amygdala is usually very important for the regulation of anxiety, fear, and emotions. And in this case, it causes an activation of that area, but in a very good way. And finally, cold seawater also increases the release of norepinephrine. I know these words seem like they're words that are coming from gibberish, however they're not. And this norepinephrine, what it does is that it sharpens the mental clarity and alertness. Well, it might come as a surprise that the air from the sea is actually very good for your respiratory system. What happens is that the sea air, as we call it, which is saltwater air, is very important for many health related things. It affects the mucociliary clearance. Those are mucus cells that are present in the respiratory system, and they keep pushing the dust from down to up. And this sea water air actually is very good because it smoothens it out and thins it in. It also helps with people who have asthma and chronic bronchitis and sinusitis. It also has something we call the halotherapy, which is basically salt particles that act as expectorants, and they improve the function of the airways. And finally, the effects we've all been waiting for. The effects on the skin. I want my skin to be smooth, as they say. So why is it very good for the skin? Number one, because it has antibacterial effects. The salt in the salt water actually has very good antibacterial, but if you overexpose yourself to it, then you will dehydrate your skin. However, if you take it in a minimal amount, you will have a perfect skin. Why is that? Because you have three elements there. Number one, it's calcium. Number two is potassium, and finally it's magnesium. These are all present in salt water, and they reduce inflammation. If you like the contents of this episode, then please like and subscribe to my channel. This helps me produce more videos and research more material for medical use. If you like this episode, then please have a look at this episode over here. Thank you.